My name is Darcy Ballantyne, and I am an assistant professor in the Department of English as of the 1st of July, 2021. Not just since the pandemic, but certainly since the pandemic, we've seen a heightened interest in not just Black literature, but Black culture, Black history. Black students and students of color, I think, are increasingly asking and even demanding that their history and that their perspective is reflected in the curriculum, the university level, and on their syllabi. There is a really capacious and compelling and interesting Black worldview that often goes missing in the ways in which we are taught literature traditionally. I was born in Ottawa and raised in southern rural Ontario in a very big white family that I was adopted into. I grew up in the country on a farm, and the country can be a kind of echo chamber. You may express an opinion and it just echoes around because potentially there are not many people in that kind of space that look like you or that think like you. As we emerge from this pandemic, there really, for me, is no better time to be teaching Black writers, Black intellectuals, and Black theorists. I'm really excited about this course. It's English 104, the short story. I think that students can expect to get a sort of quick history of the trajectory of the short story. And we're going to be reading a lot of short stories. They are all fairly short, which is why it's possible to include from 2 to 4 short stories in any given week. I'm really hoping to show a couple of short films based on some of the short stories. We're going to be reading a really interesting selection. So Dionne Brand, Zalika Reed-Benta, who recently published a collection of short stories called Frying Plantain. And of course, we'll be reading some older and some deceased short story writers, James Baldwin, Patrick Chemoiseau. I think that students will be interested in the diversity, so racial, ethnic diversity, a selection of short story writers from around the globe. My teaching philosophy is learner-centered. I ask students to bring their experience, whether it's literary experience or just life experience, to bear on a text. I think that when students communicate with each other and when there's lively discussion, it's a way for students to help each other out and to learn from each other so that the learning is not unidirectional. I like a flow of information and a flow of learning. So I contribute what I have to contribute, but I really like students to contribute what they know about a text or about a historical context or a geographical context. I would have to say that given my background and my socialization, I mean, if you're Black and you grew up in this part of the world, we are all socialized into a white worldview. So I think in my PhD, I began slowly a process of re-education, learning about my own history, learning about what it means to be Black in this country and in this city. That really made me determined to focus on Black Canadian studies, Black Canadian writers, Black Canadian theorists. Blackness is constitutive to this nation, and we have been here long over 400 years, and we have helped to create this nation. As I go forward in my teaching, I want to continue to help Black students, students of color, realize that Blackness is Canadianness.